Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this press briefing on digital foreign direct investment and the launch of a new collaboration to support the development of FDI in the digital sphere, particularly in emerging economies. So I'm delighted to welcome today Mr. Børge Brende, President of the World Economic Forum, Her Excellency Deemah Al Yahya, Secretary General of the Digital Cooperation Organization, Mr. Peter Herweck, the Chief Executive Officer of AVEVA Group, and the Honorable Ali Ibrahim Pantami, Minister for Communications and Digital Economy of Nigeria. So I will ask each of them in turn to make a short statement, and then I will welcome questions related to today's topic. So we'll get straight started. First, over to you, President Børge.
Well, thank you, Sean and Excellencies. Great to have you all here, and also the reporting press. For us, this is an important announcement. It's really about walking the talk, and we have discussed this for a while with the Digital Cooperation Organization that Madam is heading, to see how we, in a slowing global economy, can contribute to also make sure that there are investments when it comes to FDI in the digital area. And for us in the World Economic Forum, we are insisting on the fact that there will be no real economic recovery without a trade recovery and an investment recovery. And we know there is a huge potential for foreign direct investment also when it comes to the digital sphere. But we are facing challenges also on the investment side, as we of course know from the trade side. There are rules, there are regulations, there are red tapes. So we are going to identify also through this collaboration how we can better and more effectively facilitate foreign direct investment when it comes to the digital sphere. And that's where I also give great kudos to the Digital Cooperation Organization for this initiative. We're really happy to partner on it, and it is very important, especially as you alluded to, Sean, many developing countries and emerging economies do see some challenges in getting the FDIs coming in, and we are addressing this with this initiative. So hopefully it will result in more FDI flows in the digital sphere.
Perfect. Thank you. Your Excellency, over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Your Excellency, for sharing the stage with us today. Last time was in our first council meeting, DCO, in April 2021. And ever since, WEF has been a firm supporter of our mission, which is prosperity for all. We really appreciate that. WEF and DCO have a shared belief in the ability of cooperation to achieve a positive impact. And the Digital FDI initiative is a perfect example of us walking the talk. WEF Reports has estimated that 70% of the value created in the global economy over the next decade is digital economy, and all based on digitally enabled new business models. So the agility, the adaptability, and also the disruptive nature of digital economy makes it a powerful drive and engine for prosperity, particularly for women, youth, and entrepreneurs. And as all of us know, a key way to unlock economic prosperity is through FDI. So cross-border investments means way more than just capital. It means knowledge transfer, innovation, human capital development, tax revenue, and also long-term economic resilience. So the Digital FDI initiative will offer unique insights on how to create a digital ecosystem that brings prosperity to people, helps government better serve their citizens, and also encourage businesses to grow. So we're very excited to put hands in hands with WEF to launch this initiative that will, in the next coming months, identify the the state play regarding digital FDI flows in our member countries, benchmark laws and regulations that help and support in attracting and facilitating such kind of investments, and also put hand in hand with our member countries to overcome these challenges, regulatory challenges in investment, and also help facilitate these attraction of the FDI. We believe that this shared initiative with WEF, not only will it help in transforming the tremendous opportunities in digital investment for our member countries, but it will help also set international gold standards for policies that govern digital FDI. So with that, we invite the collaboration and cooperation of digital leaders across sectors and also countries to join us in these efforts. And together, working together, we can ensure that every person, every country, and every company can stand to benefit from the tremendous opportunities digital economy brings. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Herweck.
Thank you very much, Secretary General, Mr. Børge, and Minister. For a public-private partnership, it also requires companies to participate. And being a publicly listed company in the UK, actually the largest tech company, we decided to participate in this initiative that is led by the Digital Cooperation Organization and the WEF, and then also the participating countries. At AVEVA, we're committed to being part of the solution to a more socially just and an environmentally sustainable world. So, we recognize area of impact is how our technology enables customers to thrive in the industrial connected economy, if you will. And our solutions help new generations, as just pointed out by the Secretary General, the youth and the women and other people to excel and use new technology to drive decarbonization and realize a more sustainable and more inclusive industries, if you will. So we found that public-private partnerships can play a key role in accelerating the digital transformation and enabling prosperity for societies around the globe. For that to happen, I think it is very important to use some of these attractive work here and also to drive foreign direct investment in the digital economy. For that to happen, I think one needs to have very strong, clear intellectual property, data regulation, and cybersecurity policies, which have been, pronounced here earlier, and of course a robust legal framework that enables data transmission across borders in a very trusted manner in that respect. In particular, when you also use cloud and other technologies. Today already, we're helping institutions and governments in some of the participating countries, and I thought it'd be always good to give some examples of how that can be done. For example, with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, we're working with one of the renowned companies there on a hydrogen scheme that will establish a digital hub in the kingdom that will generate 300 skilled jobs in a field that generates new industry. In Nigeria, we're working on the Nigeria LNG to drive a digital twin project together. So those are two examples that we do with countries that are participating, which I think is very, very important from that perspective. So we're looking forward to participating.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Now, we're very excited because we think one of our first possibilities for practical collaboration will be in Nigeria. So with that, Minister Pantami, over to you.
Thank you very much. The President of World Economic Forum, Secretary General of Digital Cooperation Organization, CEO of AVEVA Group, ladies and gentlemen of the press, good afternoon to all of you. Firstly, I want to use the opportunity to thank my colleagues for sharing their thoughts with us about this collaboration between World Economic Forum and Digital Cooperation Organization that brought us here. And secondly, I want to remind all of us also to know that the Digital Cooperation Organization was launched April 2021, which is just 1 year, 1 month. And the wisdom behind that is to bring together countries that will support one another to develop our indigenous digital economy. As we all know, that the digital economy cannot be developed in silos. There is need for partnership, collaboration, and support. And this is what brought about some countries to come together, support one another, and see how we can develop our digital economy. Furthermore, we also want to use the opportunity to invite other countries to join hands with us to also be members of DCO so that we can partner, support one another, and ensure that at the end of it we have a win-win situation. As the issue raised, that this program of digital FDI, the project will begin in Nigeria, and I do hope that it will be an opportunity for me to use the opportunity to explain the potentials we have in the country and by extension in other member countries of the Digital Cooperation Organization. Firstly, Nigeria is a country with around 220 million people today, the most populous country in Africa. And secondly, the largest and the biggest economy in Africa with around 540 billion USD. And thirdly is a population of youth, because our average age in Nigeria today is 18.3 years old. So by implication, the population is dominated by youth. As we all know that youth are naturally inclined to digitalization and many more. Furthermore, part of what we are promoting in the Digital Cooperation Organization, in which Nigeria has also been implementing, is what we call developmental regulation. Regulation is not only to restrict unnecessarily, but our regulation is to support development. So, because usually regulatory institutions are more interested in restriction, but in our own case, our regulation is to support development. And Nigeria happens to be the first country to come up with developmental regulation where we sit down with potential investors, listen to their complaints, and see how we can adjust our regulatory instruments for us to have a win-win situation. In addition, we are also working within the member countries and also in Nigeria to provide an environment for ease of doing business. And that is why in Nigeria we have established Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, PEBEC, where we sit down and identify the challenges and obstacles to foreign direct investment and address them there and then. Just a week ago, the Federal Executive Council in Nigeria introduced tax holiday for investment in the digital economy sector. And there are so many initiatives like visa on arrival, registering your company online, and many more. So this project is going to begin in Nigeria. Furthermore, in whatever we do within the member countries of DCO, we try to encourage collaboration and partnership, not only within government, including investors, policy makers, academia, and many more, so that we can come up with a model that each and every stakeholder is comfortable with it. And furthermore, I want to use the opportunity to invite potential investors to the member countries of Digital Cooperation Organization, and particularly to Nigeria. The opportunities are enormous, and there are so many benefits of doing that. And I do hope that whoever comes to Nigeria to invest will not regret his decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister, and that's a warm invitation, and congratulations to you all on this launch.
Thank you.
Now, I have a couple of questions which were submitted earlier, but first I'd like to open to those in the room, if anybody would like to ask anything. If not, then I'll turn to one or two of these questions which were sent in earlier. So first, perhaps, President Brende. This doesn't come out of nowhere. The forum has been doing some related digital and investment work in the past. Would you like to tell us a little bit, give us one or two examples of what's been done previously?
I think we learned a lot from the Bali Agreement when it comes to trade. The Bali Agreement was about trade facilitation, how to make sure that it's easier to do trade between nations. And then I think we realized that there is also a need for facilitating investments easier among countries, traditional FDIs. And then we realized again that there is also huge potential when it comes to the digital economy. And we know, and you've heard many times being said, that data is the new oxygen in the new economy. And big data is really a big thing. And what we are seeing is a need also to build robust systems and ways for data flow, also when it comes to emerging economies and developing economies. So I think this is one area that we could work further on. I think also we know that the way a trade flows between nations is unfortunately still quite traditional. So you have to fill out forms, and they have to be stamped, and they have to be stamped, and then they have to be stamped and sent back and forth. Why aren't we digitalizing all this? And that can also make sure that things do flow better, and this should also be part, I feel, of this FDI, digital FDI initiative. So digitalizing trade processes should be a low-hanging fruit. Is that what you were looking for?
That's helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Secretary General, you mentioned your mission is that of enabling digital prosperity. Do you want to give us maybe a tiny little bit more behind that, some of examples of the challenges or solutions which you particularly prioritize?
Well, thank you. That's yes, that is a big question. And looking at the aspect of a digital economy, and especially after the pandemic, how the gap of digital divide is increasing tremendously, and the need for not only governments but also even enterprises to digitally transform very quickly, that comes to a lot of panic. Where are the investments? Where is the consultancy? What are the policies and regulations that are needed? Therefore, rather than reinventing the wheel, let's expedite that transformation by sharing best practices together. And this is where we would be providing all these best practices, not only from developing countries, but also to benefit the underdeveloped and served nations and regions. Also, we have seen the great investments that the enterprises have been facilitating in our member countries, but do they have the right data? Do they know exactly what is the need? And also, do our member countries have the data and have the openness to know what they actually need? And this is where we come in and fill in that gap and show them what are the possibilities and link in those dots to make that expediting transformation. Our core focus is human-centric approach, and therefore when we say digital prosperity for all, our focus is the human, and therefore every initiative that we are working on goes back to serving the women, youth, and entrepreneurs, and creating a better future for them to find opportunities in the digital economy. So by the digital FDI is one example, and we can talk about a lot of examples that we're working on, like the Cross-Border Data Flows Center of Excellence, and also the Digital Empowerment Observatory as well. We see that infrastructure and human capital development is a core. Last February, we launched the DCO Startup Passport to open borders between the member countries and to facilitate that market expansion, as we represent more than 500 million in population right now. But that by itself is a huge market. And I'll stop there.
Wonderful. Well, great, because I'm very excited to get stuck into the actual work. Minister, you talked about some of the reasons why investors should come to Nigeria now. Is there anything coming in the future in the digital space that you think is particularly exciting that you're working on, looking forward to, that you should be looking at?
Sorry?
do you have anything you're particularly excited about in terms of Nigeria's investment climate in the next few years? What should we look forward to as some of the changes?
To be fair, there are many, and there are also many opportunities. As I earlier mentioned, our population is encouraging. Our economic development is also encouraging. The enabling environment is being addressed and is becoming better by the day, and opportunities are also increasing. So I do hope that in the next few years, Nigeria could not only be the largest economy in Africa, but including other continents, looking at the potentials and the opportunities we have.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
And maybe my final pre-submitted question for you, Peter, is on, having listened to what you've heard, do you feel that public-private collaboration can be helpful for you in making it easier to invest, perhaps improving the quality of your investment, not just the quantity?
Well, I think we see that public-private partnerships have worked in the past, and I outlined a couple of examples earlier. Now, under this initiative, and in the digital space, that's something new for us. And, I think it's important that we have governments, companies come together in the framework that's there. And in many instances also, many of the governmental bodies will also require companies to come, which I think is okay to start educating people and to build up presences in those countries, which we will do.
Great, wonderful. Well, I think with that we can conclude this session. I'd like to thank you all very, very much for starting to get the message out about cooperation for digital FDI, and we very much look forward to following how this partnership develops. Thank you.